Hey community of awesome, what's up? This is your boy Sagarmalkar. Welcome to the channel once again and welcome to an amazing podcast. Okay, we are doing this third segment of In Conversation With, where we talk with successful people from all walks of life. Okay, and you have already seen the thumbnail, you have already seen the title, but I'll assume you haven't and introduce my next guest. Okay, he's a YouTuber, he's a social media influencer, he's a career guidance coach, he's everything you'd need. Okay, he's the big brother of YouTube. Please give it up for Biceps, aka Ranveer Allahbadia.
Hey, what's
Thank
up?
you for being on the show, bro.
Glad to be here, bro.
Yeah.
How's it going?
So the whole podcast is about entrepreneurship. It's about success and how you get there, right? And we wanted to have you on the show because you have gone from being a college student, then from going on to become a fitness coach, becoming the fitness icon of YouTube, and then building a profitable business out of it, business out of it. So we'd like you to share how your journey was, and how from I'd like you to recap onto your old days, how schooling was, how college was, and how everything fall in place. I remember you telling me that there was a time when you used to cry, then wipe off your tears, and then make the videos in the evening, in the struggling phase of your life. So I'd like you to go back there and recap all of that.
Yeah, so it was intense, man. Like any career you start out, it'll always be intense in the beginning. So mine was intense as well. I just knew I wanted to do something different and something of my own. Once I discovered YouTube and I figured that wait, this can grow through these steps, it was all about just doing those steps. So just focused on the execution. Eventually I figured that there's something called scalability, which is, and scaling up, which is basically, it means growing your business, and I figured that it grows through people. So one game was executing on your own task, putting out videos. The other game was getting the correct people to join you on this battle. And once they joined in, things started growing. Obviously money was a focus as well. Right. So that's what led to starting all these businesses.
Right. How was your college stuff? How did this start? YouTube start?
So in college I had no idea that I'll become a YouTuber or something. I just assumed that I knew I'll do something of my own, something entrepreneurial, but YouTube was very far off. So college wasn't a good time because it was very intense in terms of if you're in engineering college in India, a lot of people will tell you that you can only do engineering, and that's that's the only way forward. And also a lot of the professors, I think they've only seen engineering their whole life, so they'll tell you that their version of life. So you start believing that, you start thinking that there's no world beyond engineering. So you kind of feel very caged, you feel locked up. But I knew that life will start after 22. So just kept believing, kept working, man.
Right. So how was how did you get started with all of this? Out of engineering college, other of your friends were going for engineering internships, but you went on to something which was fitness related, which was YouTube related. How was that? What were you thinking back then?
So I just had to do something that was my own. That was my only mentality. I knew that I needed to learn business, so I interned with my relative. I worked in his engineering factory, and there I understood that any business you can just create. And then I realized that you can create any business in India just by using common sense. Wow. So that was one big learning from there. I met one other relative of mine, one Masi of mine, and she asked me to list my strengths on paper. So my strengths that time were communication, fitness, and marketing. And she's like, okay, try creating something out of this. So initially the plan was to create an Uber for fitness trainers. You can sit at home and you can call a trainer home for a workout. That was a startup idea. But once I actually got to working on it, someone recommended that to market this startup, I use social media. So I ended up just kind of starting YouTube like that, with that intention of, okay, let me just market this startup. I didn't know that it'll grow. I thought I'll grow to 2,000 subscribers and stop. Okay. So, but once I started growing it, I realized, wait, even I've used a lot of fitness YouTube. And I used to always look at American channels and think to myself that someone should be doing this for India. Right. And then I realized, wait, that's me now. I should be doing that for India. So it started off like that. We started as an India-specific fitness channel. There were a lot of people during this phase who were like, what are you doing? You become a fitness trainer, or all kinds of voices. But I was too involved in just putting out content, and YouTubing, especially when you're just alone, when it's a one-person team, it's a pretty difficult process. So it's so consuming that you don't really think of what people are saying about you and all that. I was just focused on like growing.
Yeah. So like, you had that early mover advantage in fitness in India.
Yeah.
But now there are so many YouTube fitness channels, there are so many men styling channels, and there are so many motivational channels that are some genres that you're working in right now. So like, what do you think makes Beer Biceps or Ranveer Allahbadia's channels different from other YouTubers who are doing that?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I have that first mover's advantage that you said. I think I was early, right place, right time worked for me. I do feel it's difficult. I mean, I'm not trying to be discouraging, but I do feel it's difficult to make fitness channels now, fashion channels now, motivational channels now, because a lot of the content has been done.
Right.
In saying that, you never know what is out there.
Right.
There is someone else who's got like a vision of a channel and they're sure that they want to do it. Maybe it'll work. I personally feel like if you put me again in 2019 or 2020 and tell me, okay, now start from 0 subscribers, it's going to be more difficult than it was for me starting out then. But my advice is to just put out something original. Don't try being like someone else.
Right.
Because that's something I tried doing. There was one fitness YouTuber I watched called Omar Isaf who used to wear like ganjis and make his fitness videos.
Yeah.
So if you see all my old videos, it's all wearing colorful ganjis and all that. But people really started liking the channel when I started being myself. So I just feel that everyone should like be themselves like in this game. Usually audiences gravitate towards originality and obviously gravitate towards value adds. So if you keep like putting informational videos which are packed with a lot of helpful info, it's going to work for you.
In business and in YouTube as well, things, though it's a creative field, things get to like start being repetitive in some sense, and that is when you need some motivation, on daily basis to do business, to get up, to go out there. Like, what's your motivation in business?
I keep changing up my main goals like every year, but I ensure that even if it gets boring midway through the year, I'll push myself through it. That's why something like gymming helps. Like the world of weight training and fitness teaches you consistency and teaches you discipline. So all that translates to your real life. So I've been probably lifting weights for maybe like 8 years now, and it never gets boring. Even though I'm doing the same workout like all the time. When I'm doing it, I know, okay, I'm benefiting my body. So it's the same logic in business that we've put out like 400 plus videos on English, 150 plus videos on Hindi. And it's that same process of creating thumbnails, coming in front of camera, writing scripts. When a video is published, you have to think of your next 4 videos. It's that same process that's been going on for more than 4 years. But I'm so like locked in that it's fine now. And that I've got that skill from the world of gymming. Yeah.
So like when you go to sleep, when you retire for the day on the bed, what's like your last thought?
Dude, last 2 hours of the day I spend meditating.
Right?
So you're just filled with like spiritual thoughts and all that. I'm not thinking of work. I'm not thinking of, even if I have a big day the next day, it's more about like putting positivity onto that day. So it's a very spiritual place that I go into.
You have been working like an inspiration to many people, right? I've seen youth who see your videos and get pumped, you are a person who gives motivation to the youth. Who are the few people who inspire you and who you like reading about and you'd recommend our audience should go read about their lives and learn from it?
Yeah, so definitely Virat Kohli, LeBron James, these two guys, like for sure. I'm not as much of a reader as I am a podcast listener.
Right.
And the only books I read are spiritual books.
Right.
So in terms of career blueprints, I think Virat Kohli, LeBron James can teach you a lot in terms of mentality. But in terms of like a personal blueprint, obviously Sadhguru is someone who I really look up to. And I'd probably say Kevin Hart. He's a new guy who's like, he's got a great personal blueprint. He's not spiritual, but he's got like a good mentality in place and he's trying to do a lot of things. Yeah.
So like, so you have been into the startup world for 2 years now.
Yeah.
Almost, and there's this buzz for startups among young people in India at least, and everyone wants to do big and achieve big. What would be your advice for someone who wants to start a startup and hasn't yet and wants to start it up and what would be your advice for them?
Two pieces of advice. Firstly, intern with a startup or work with another startup. Learn how that world works.
Yeah.
Second piece of advice: learn how to make profits through your business. That's the key.
So like make your business profitable.
Yeah.
In startup, like there's this whole question about should we have co-founder? Do we need a co-founder?
Yeah.
What
You do need a co-founder in this country. 100%. You can't do it alone in this country because not everyone has all the skills required to run business in this country.
Right. So to take some pressure off your shoulder sometimes.
Yeah, but it's mainly, pressure and all. That's a very it's a part of the process. It's not really for that. It's a very practical approach that I have about this. Like, I just feel that maybe I know how to do great video editing. Maybe you won't know that. And we're starting a video production business. But you know finances really well. You know numbers really well. So you need that partnership. Like bade mein or chote mein ho.
Right.
So just that, bro.
In business, right, you have been mentored by some amazing people, you have been meeting some amazing people, and through your journey of 2 years in business, what are some like top 3 business principles or business mantras that you have learned throughout this journey which everyone should adapt to make a successful business out of?
Firstly, don't make businesses person oriented, make it system oriented. So if you see in your business that some particular things depend on only one guy, then you're doing something wrong.
Right.
So build a team under that guy so that tomorrow if something happens to that guy or he doesn't turn up at office, things are still running. That's so. Firstly, make things system oriented. Secondly, always you have to think long term. You have to see that whatever business you're doing, it should be able to survive even 10 years after you're gone, at least. And if it's a long-term business that you worked on, it should survive 500 years after you've gone. And that I've learned from Radhakrishnan Pillai. And the third thing I'd probably say is, like, on a very personal level as a bro, like, just don't be too harsh on yourself. That's a mistake I used to do early on. Like, when you're just ambitious, you're very, like, intense on yourself, on a personal level.
Yeah, you work yourself out sometimes.
It's not required. I just feel like everyone's got a lot of time, and this is something I've discovered recently where I still work as hard. I don't take myself too seriously anymore. Like, I learned to laugh at myself.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, if you had to give a piece of advice to that 20-year-old Ranveer who is just out of, started engineering and has those dreams of starting a YouTube channel or whatever, the startup, what would you recommend a piece of advice to him?
Just don't let the professors and your peers' words like hurt you, because if there is a voice that's telling you that you're right and someone else is wrong, there is a possibility that is a real voice. Like that's true. So just believe in like whatever you've dreamt for yourself.
You have been like very vocal about and advocating meditation and spirituality in your life as well as, and you have promoted it very openly out on your channel as well as other channels. So how has spirituality and meditation helped you, and why would you recommend it to other people, and how can it help others?
There's been a lot of studies lately that show the biological benefits of meditation, where it actually changes the structure of your brain. But you only experience those biological benefits once you've practiced for a month at least.
Right.
Ideally 3 months, and then if you practice for like a year, you'll really be a different person. So because I'm doing so many businesses, so many things, I have to think in like a real like 360-degree perspective almost every single day, and it can get very draining. But I think meditation is that one thing that kind of works that muscle. So it's giving you a bigger stamina and bigger capacity to end up doing, more things, like to throw a heavier punch. So if I'm going in for a boxing match, now I've built a body to go and box. That's happened through meditation.
Right. And you have also been very vocal about leaving non-veg and leaving alcohol, and you never smoked, but other vices of yours. Why why did you do that? What stage in life were you that you decided to do that? And also, how has it helped you? How do you feel different?
So it's two separate answers. Alcohol and weed, I just feel like it kind of blunts you out a little bit, but you don't realize while you're in college and while you're partying. And I don't say that, everyone should leave like alcohol, weed. It's not like that. Like, It's a personal calling from the inside. I know that there's a team of like 40 people waiting at Monk Entertainment who look up to me. I know that there's like 5 million people following on social media. So I'm living a different kind of life and I'm trying to set an example here. In saying that, this life is not for everyone. Also, leaving alcohol and all that, it really helps your meditation again. And meditation's gone to such a deep layer where my life has become about like enhancing that, you know. So any change that I can bring in my life to enhance that, I'll do it. Non-veg, partly it's the meditation. Once you just meditate in the long term, you're you know, again, you want to do everything for like the meditation. So vegetarian diets really help a lot in meditation. Body just kind of rejects meat. Like, I remember I've eaten so much meat in my life, dude. Like, I think from the age of 4, every meal of my life, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, has had either eggs, non-veg, something, and not like just, you know, chicken, like all kinds of non-veg, red meat, everything. When I started gymming, that increased even more, and I used to enjoy non-veg. I really enjoyed eating non-veg, but I think one day I was just like, I had this thought of like becoming vegetarian, and there was this plate of like chicken in front of me, and I just couldn't eat it. So the same thing happened with seafood, the same thing happened with red meat. So your body kind of just naturally rejects non-veg after a point if you're serious about your meditation. And once I turned vegetarian, I saw the benefits it had for my body. So I'm not going on all the game changers dekho and all. It's not like that. I don't force vegetarianism on anyone, but just for me, my body, my mindset, I feel like I've reached Super Saiyan level now, like by becoming vegetarian. Obviously, you lose your body. Like I can't do bodybuilding as well as I used to. That is a downside of vegetarian food. You're not as like strong as you were, but it's fine. Mentally, you're in another place. Right. Yeah.
With the, like, you know, when you started it, what was your vision? You spoke briefly about it, that you just wanted 2,000 subscribers or something like that.
Yeah.
But when you got a bit serious on YouTube, what was your vision then? And now that you have made a production company out of it, a digital marketing company out of it, you know, influencing marketing company out of it, what's your vision now for Monk Entertainment, for you personally? What's like your goal you want to achieve?
With YouTube, I think there isn't really a goal in terms of numbers anymore. I'm just, I have one mentor called Gaurav Kapoor. He hosts a show called Breakfast with Champ. So he told me this one quote. He said, "Neki kar darya mein fek."
The podcast, yes.
Yeah, and those podcasts really stay with me. Like, you all might see it as just an interview, but it's a learning experience and a mentorship session for me. So he put this logic in my head of just stop associating yourself and your goals with numbers, which is very true, because technically YouTube is all about competing with yourself. You're not competing against anyone. And I never had that thing of I'm competing with some other YouTuber, but I used to put pressure on myself about numbers. Why aren't we at like so many subs and all? Now it's literally that there's so many things happening in my life that I can't say, okay, you know, I'm going to let this one number thing define me, because Monk Entertainment is growing, we're launching more businesses. Right now my goal in life in terms of Monk Entertainment is probably just like growing it as much as possible in terms of hires, in terms of like the revenue we generate, all that, and creating more businesses. I do want to retire early in life. That's something I've thought about. So while I'm working, I'm just giving it like my 120% so that I can put myself in a position to retire early.
What does your life after retirement look like?
I'm going to do a lot of social work. Right. Like so technically I'm not going to retire. I'm not going to like chill at home.
Right, got it. Yeah. From, like,
I'll probably do a lot, for animal welfare and education for the country. Right. Kind of what like Bill Gates is doing right now, in terms of like just helping the world. Because after a point, after you earn money feels empty. Like it's like cool, ab kya? Like, you know, cool, I got a good pair of shoes, I got a good car, now what? Right. So it becomes more about like just doing something for society.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the goal.
That's also the rush with the YouTube channel. I feel putting out videos and helping people's life is much more fulfilling than money.
It is.
Yeah.
So like, what like if you sit down, you know, with a coffee or something like that, relax, chill, and look back on your journey and look at what, like, if there were some mistakes that you did, and you could note them down for someone to learn from it, what would that be like with YouTube, with your personal life, as well as with
So I'm in a state of mind in my life currently where I'm not really looking back. I'm just looking forward.
Right.
So I don't really dwell too much on okay. I do think about whatever the mistakes I did in engineering college.
Right.
But since Biceps started in like 2015, I just have this mentality of looking forward because I'm still young and there's still a lot of work to do.
Wow.
Like, so there's no the mistakes we learn from immediately. Like if it happened last week, then I'll learn from it, register it, and never think about it again. So, and there's genuinely just so much work in my life. Like if I open my phone schedule right now, every day for the next entire month, there's some shoot booked, something, some edit booked, something is happening. So there's literally no time to breathe, and I don't get time to have a coffee and look back.
Which in itself becomes a great advice, you know, to not look on.
Yeah, probably. It's not, I think I'm able to do this because of all the meditation. It refills my stamina. And I also am in that position in life where I can say that, okay, now, you know, my office is going to run, my editing is going to run, I'm going on vacation. And I do that. Every 3-4 months, I'll leave the city and I'll go away because even though I'm doing all this meditation, I also need a break from all this. So I go there and meditate. Like I'll go to the hills and meditate, or I'll go to a beach and meditate. But I will leave every 3-4 months. Like now, end of December, I'm going to be in the Himalayas.
Right.
So blessed enough to be in that position, man, right now.
You talked about how Virat Kohli or LeBron James or Sadhguru has influenced you in a very positive way.
Yeah.
If there were like one qualities out of each of these like wonderful people, what would that be? What is the quality that you would take from them and adapt in yourself?
Virat Kohli, I'd probably take his like discipline. I am a disciplined guy, but that guy's discipline is like it's legendary. Like India's probably not seen a more disciplined man than him. Being at that stage, understanding the responsibility of being at that stage in life, you know. So that's something I take from him. LeBron, I'd like take his toughness, you know, like in terms of he's in his 17th or 18th year of like playing. By this age, like everyone else who was his age in like basketball, they've either retired or they're very like, you know, they're small players compared to what they used to be. And this guy's still considered the best player in the league. So he's physically very tough, mentally very tough. That's something I take from him. And from Sadhguru, I'd probably just take his peace. Like, you know, even like, you know, if people are arguing with him, the amount of peace in his argument, I'd take that. And I still feel like I try taking that every day from these guys. But it's a constant battle, you know. I'm still not as disciplined, as mentally tough, or as peaceful as I would like to be. So it's a constant battle. It's not something that you get overnight.
You have been working with the youth a lot, you know. The team at Monk Entertainment is very young. The content that you make, the viewers are very young. The meetups that you do, the audience is very young. What do you think are like the 5 mistakes youth of today does, and you'd wish that they wouldn't do that?
Get affected by what the teachers and the parents are saying in terms of, you know, this is the kind of career you should go for. There's lots of careers out there which your teachers and your parents don't understand. And you probably understand because you've grown up in a world of social media. Second, like only using social media for fun. I feel like there's too much to learn from social media. It can become a whole MBA course if you allow it to become one. Free, of course. You won't have to spend money. 3, like not learning the correct skills required in the real world. Like you only learn the things you're taught in college, like whatever, engineering or medicine. But the real skills in life are personal finance, taxes, communication skills, human empathy, understanding other human beings, all those things. Learn about those things, and that also you can learn from YouTube. You can learn from reading the right books. Next, not starting early. I think Indian college students have this mentality of like, just okay, I'll start at 22 and all that. Like I wish I'd started Biceps when I was 18, and I could have. But I look back, I had the same skill set then. It was just that I started late. I was too stuck up in alcohol and heartbreak and all those things. And again, the 5th thing is taking themselves too seriously. I think that's a downside to being an Indian. We're just brought up with a slight inferiority complex of, nahi, you know, you're not good enough. Look at these Firangs, like they're so much better. So that, you know, trickles down to many aspects of your life. So just have that confidence from the time that you're 18 of, हाँ मैं भी कुछ करके दिखाऊंगा. So
being in this media industry, there are a lot of yes men around you. There's a lot of negativity around you sometimes. How do you deal with that? How do you make peace with that?
I have the two biggest no men in my life, which are Viraj and Rajas.
Right.
So actually I don't like. I think you have my WhatsApp number, right?
Yeah.
I don't use WhatsApp. Like unless I'm coming for a shoot here, then I'll call you on it. But I don't see WhatsApp. If anyone wants to get in touch with me, they have to come through Viraj or Rajas or my
Do you
core
use
team.
other social media
No.
handles?
Like I post and I forget about
Yeah,
things.
you don't consume
Yeah,
it though.
like I'm living a very weird life in terms of I'm on social media. I'm on so many social media platforms, but there's a lot of like creative pressure on me, so I don't use social media myself. Even for YouTube, the only things I watch are either very like intellectual things or basketball. Like it's just one of like these two, or cricket. Like so my whole YouTube feed is just basketball, cricket, and really intellectual stuff. So I don't really follow any YouTubers or anything. I have a very weird monotonous life, dude, like, and it's pretty boring once you come on this side of the court, because I think like I'm trying to put out so much content and there's so many ideas going through my head that I don't want to shift that. People like even like very respect, like people who I respect a lot, like Radhakrishnan Pillai, so sometimes I even miss his messages, like he'll message me and I'll see it after like a week and say, I'll call him and say, sorry sir, like I'm in a zone. He understands me.
Right.
So it's not easy to work with me. It's not easy to be in my life as a friend, a mentor. Like I have respect for my mentors, my friends, but I can't help it. I'm living a very weird life right now. I feel like I'm batting right now and I'm too involved in like hitting every ball for 4 or 6.
Right.
And once I'm done, batting, once the tea break or whatever's there, I'll go back to the dressing room and meet all my friends. So that's my zone in life.
Awesome, amazing. So you talked about like you don't see a lot of YouTube videos, but is there like a channel you draw inspiration from or you see?
It changes at every stage of life. Lot of things I've learned from the channel called Charisma on Command.
Oh right, the guys who make how to be like Iron Man and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, just
Oh, yeah.
it's
Your
like
content is quite-
yeah,
yeah.
it's social skills. I used to watch a lot of that in college. Not in college, I'd say once I started becoming bigger as a YouTuber, you start getting famous. So you realize that there's a certain way you need to behave in public.
Yeah.
You will have negative people, coming into your life. So how to deal with them. It gave me my skill set required after fame came into my life. And now I think the channel I watch a lot is this channel called JRE Clips. So it's Joe Rogan Experience, which is like
Right.
the world's biggest podcast. But I don't watch each of his podcasts. I watch the best bits of it.
Clips, yeah.
So he has a separate channel called JRE Clips. So I'll just binge watch a lot of that. If I find, say, he's done an interview with Kevin Hart, I'll watch all the Kevin Hart clips that I find interesting.
Right.
But not the entire thing, because I don't want to know about where Joe Rogan ate dinner yesterday, but I want to know about what Kevin Hart,
Yeah.
says about how he's bringing up his children.
Right.
So the plan probably going forward is to launch the Ranveer show clips as well, something like that, you know.
Micro content out of
Yeah, micro content, like some vibe like that we've been thinking about. But right now I'm too locked in on just creating a good podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, about that, like what's the thing about right? You talked about it on social media as well, that the content that you have already made for the English channel, that's Be a Biceps, is now being recreated for Hindi channel.
Yeah.
And only podcast will be out there on Be a Biceps.
Yeah.
Like, tell us a bit more about it. Why do you want to do it? You also had this Instagram post where you said that many people told me that you will be tagged as an interviewer for all your life, but I still go on with it. Talk about that.
I feel podcasts are a very less understood thing of the modern day, and I do feel that the 2020s, anyone who wants any kind of self-improvement will have to start using podcasts, because it's something that I've seen how much it's taught me. Like, I've just done engineering. I don't know shit about like biz. I've not done an MBA. So all my skills have come from podcasts. So it's like an obvious fit, like things I want to learn about, things, that will help me as a guy. I'm just recording those things and putting it out on the internet, and जिसको सीखना है वो सीखेंगे. So that's my mentality. I know that podcasts don't get views and all that, but I know that 12 years later, 15 years later, when
you'll be adding value to
these things are going to be there forever. So it's evergreen content. Something like, say, comedy or sketches will get a lot of views right now, but 15 years later people may not even watch these things. Maybe they will, But I feel that 15 years later, there will be some kid who's become a millionaire or a billionaire, and he'll come up to me and say, you know what, man, your podcast helped me. And then those $1 billion, if they go and help change the world, then I've done my role in the world.
You know, with YouTube, comes great responsibilities, comes great money, comes new network. Has it changed any, like, in any terms, the life of that young 20-year-old Ranveer, out of, like, in terms of family relations, in terms of friend relations?
I think I'm like the same guy. I still, in my head, I feel like we've just started out on YouTube. Like, I still feel like, and it's actually been that 4 years is not a very long time. I feel like engineering college has just gotten over.
Right.
So that's why I keep discussing with Rajas, my co-founder on Biceps, that it feels like we just started out.
Right.
And then we see some of our live streams from 2016 and we realize, damn, that was a while ago. So, but in our head, we've been so locked in on, okay, we want to create the next one, We haven't given ourselves a mental break as well. So we still feel like the same guys, but we also feel like we have this athlete mentality of we have to, it's like a sport, you have to train yourself, you have to go out and give your best performance, create the best kind of video, tweak your performance based on like what your audience wants. So we're just so involved in the process that we don't think about, oh shit, it's been like 4 years and things have grown and money and all. That's not that. But on a personal level, there's been like one negative change, one positive change. The positive change is that I've become a lot calmer with age. Also the meditation. Also, I think I'm not struggling to prove a point anymore to the world. I'm capable of doing something in life. That's not there. The negative aspect is because there's so many things going on and I've realized the potential of all this. Like, I feel like we've just tapped into 1% of the potential. There's a lot more to do. So that's made me a little emotionally unavailable. Like, my mom is in my life, like my dad is in my life, like I have a good relationship with them, my sister's in my life, but my extended family I've kind of lost touch with. Again, about the same batting thing, that I'm so involved in playing my game that I don't end up going for like family functions.
Do you regret that happening?
Not right now.
Right.
I'm not in that state. Maybe I'll regret it later. I don't know. But right now, I'm really like, my family is you guys, like my family is like the 5 million people. And my family is like my kids in my office. So I'm very clear about that. I'm very clear about where I'm taking it. And if you want to get somewhere, you have to sacrifice few things. I'm single right now. And I feel like I'm emotionally unavailable. I'm not ready for a relationship. So that's the one change. I think at 22, I was always ready. I wanted to date someone, So that was like, that's the one big negative change maybe. I don't even call it negative, dude. Like, it's just a change that's there. But I'm too locked into my game.
You have been very vocal about your whole breakup and stuff like that, and which is a very, it's a very recurring problem with teenagers, with people in the age of like 18 to 25, until they find someone. How do you, like, what's your coping mechanism with that? You are like, after a breakup, you might have had different reasons, but what would you suggest for teenagers? How do they move on from that? And
the biggest solution is time heals.
Right.
Like, just give it time.
Mm-hmm.
Give it good sleep. Like, sleep a lot, dude. Like, that's something I did. Like, I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks after my breakup, I just slept a lot. I actually took a break from work and I just slept. I was sitting at home and I slept. Didn't do drugs, didn't do alcohol, which is what a lot of teenagers do nowadays. Even I've done that actually as a teenager, just got really drunk. But now once you're an adult, you sleep, you meditate.
What's better, being drunk or sleeping?
Sleeping and meditating. And like, it's like when I'm waking up, I'm meditating, so I'm kind of sleeping, or I'm actually sleeping. So sleep a lot, dude. Meditate, talk to your friends.
Right.
If you're feeling sad, accept that sadness. Don't try fighting it. And
Which
focus.
actually really helps, just saying to yourself, yeah, I am sad.
Yeah. Cry if you want, dude. Like, it's fine. But also kind of have that thing of, okay, I need to get back to work. That should be there.
Right.
Especially if you're in a phase of life where you're locked in. Take a break for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Let your brain, your body, your mind, your emotions recover. And then get back to work. Work itself will like heal you more than even time.
You spoke a lot about meditation in this podcast as well, and that's like constant in all the content that you produce. how, like, what would you recommend for someone who wants to get into meditation, who wants to change their life through this
Just
path?
create a habit initially of meditation. That's the part of meditation what people can't do.
Right.
They can't create a habit out of it. Once you create that habit of ideally 20 minutes a day, if you can take it even beyond that, take it to like 30 minutes, 45 minutes a day, you'll see your life changing. And if you feel that you can't do it, go for a meditation course, Isha Foundation, YSS.
Right.
These are the two things I'd recommend over anything. Art of living. Learn technical meditations.
Right.
Learn like the technical way of doing breathing techniques and all that. That's the advantage of living in India, which Indians don't understand.
Right.
Like Firangs, Americans, Europeans want to come to India to learn all this shit, and we have it like in the next neighborhood.
Nice, yeah.
But it's not utilized.
You guys have a meditation playlist as well on it, right?
Yeah, but even that is like, it's like the tip of the iceberg. There are technical meditations which I can never put on the channel because it's not allowed. So,
Those guys.
yeah, like you're not allowed to talk about these things online. It's like, you know, I'm not allowed to, like, I can't exactly break down how to do personal finances, mutual funds on my channel because it's just wrong, like, to do it. Same thing with meditation.
Right.
It's so technical. There's so many rules that unless you're a certified guru, you can't put it out.
Someone can take it in a very wrong way.
Yeah.
And do it in a very wrong way. Awesome. So, you know, the whole thing was about success and whole thing was about entrepreneurship. If there is like one thing, okay, one thing out of all your life, all the people you have met, one thing that you have learned and you would like to pass it on to someone who really wants to make it big, not only in business, you know, generally in life, who really wants to like be great at what he or she is doing, what would that piece of advice be like?
Like that, growing up, we always told that talent and brains takes you forward. But the one thing I've realized over time is that it's just about stamina. It's actually a marathon. And it's not about hitting hard every single day. It's just about hitting every single day. So even if you have less effort to give, but you're just moving, it's fine. So there's this Chinese quote that I really love. It's a Chinese proverb. It says that be not afraid of moving slowly, be afraid only of standing still.
Right.
Which is that don't just, you know, stay in one place. Just do something small but keep moving forward.
Yeah.
It's about stamina.
Slowly at least.
Long term, it's just about stamina.
Right. And that is what has helped you.
Yeah, I guess so.
Awesome. Thank you for being on the show, Ranveer.
Glad to be here, bro.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
I'm glad.
Hey, Ranveer's channel, not that he needs it, but his channel is linked down below. His social media handles are linked down below. He helps youth and he helps teenagers in such a way I can't tell you. His content is very valuable. The guests that he has on his shows are very valuable. Go stream it out there, look for him, tell him on his social media handles that you love this video. And so yeah, like this video, subscribe it, and let's end it the way we do. Stay healthy, stay awesome, do some awesome stuff. Remember that you're one of your kind, live a kick-ass life, be kind to one another. Remember, think big, go big, live big. Until the time we meet again, farewell mates. Thank you, brother. Thank
Great
you for
being here,
doing
brother.
this.